Welcome to Carte Los Angeles for a new interview with Bernard Dunaux. He's a painter and he's going to explain all about all his art. So Bernard, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
You're welcome. And can talk about how you started in. You didn't start as a painter first, right?
No. Actually, I started really as a musician. I was raised in France, but a little bit all over the world, a little bit all over. But my first look at art was through music. So I studied classical guitar at a conservatory in Ville d'Avray, and eventually got a first prize in classical guitar, started teaching, giving concerts, and then moved to the United States.
Okay, so after music, how did you become a painter?
Well, we actually moved with my wife to a house in Sherman Oaks in the valley here, and we tried to find some pieces of art to put on the walls, and eventually found that everything that we liked we'd see in magazines later on. And so I decided just to take up a brush, went to buy some paints, and decided to paint myself something for the house. And it ended up that I started really liking what I was doing, and started presenting my pieces to a gallery that was down in the area. And after a few years, they actually took one in and started selling, which was how really everything started.
Interesting. And you also opened a gallery. Do you want to talk about it?
Yes. After a few years, I went into painting 100% all the time, and decided that perhaps it would be best to open a gallery and sell my own art. So I opened a gallery on Beverly Boulevard, just by the Beverly Center, and started selling my own paintings through the gallery.
Okay, so we have paintings behind you. This one is new, right? You told me that like a couple of days ago.
Yeah, this one just started a couple of days ago.
And so, what do you use for painting?
Well, I use really now anything that I can find, because I'm sort of like an instinctual painter. So I like to be able to grab whatever I can at the moment that I need it. So I use anything from leather dye to house paints to, of course, gesso to acrylic. I mix things in the paint, and again, I made my own tool to start painting. I got to the point where I figured that just using a brush was not enough, so I started making my own tool.
Okay, can we see your own tool?
Yes, of course.
Show us?
Well, this is
what you're using.
This is one piece, so it's obviously been used quite a lot.
Yeah.
So just a piece that I made, and I applied the paint on it and applied on the canvas with it. I use different little tools, like things like this also that I can use.
That you use somewhere here, right?
That I see up there, yes, absolutely. The interesting thing with those tools is that actually it gives you a way of painting that's completely different, because you have to adapt to the new tools, and you discover many things every time that you start painting.
Yeah, this is more your instinct. Painting.
It's an instinct, yeah. And this comes really from years of painting, where I discovered that to really paint and to have the painting become something interesting to somebody, you have to have an energy in what you're doing. And the energy for me is really not thinking. Because I figure that when you start really thinking about what you're doing, you start becoming sort of too critical about what you're doing. So the process for me is to really kind of jump off a cliff every time, and without a parachute, and just like trust that something is going to happen, that every time I paint it comes out. Of course, year after year, you start getting into a zone that you can get this happening very fast. Of course, certain things can make it happen easier. Sometimes a lot of painters drink a lot of alcohol, drink a lot of, do a lot of drugs, whatever gets them into that zone where they can become free of self-criticism and really create coming from inside. So yeah, no, I think that the state of mind where you are at that point is a state where everything is blank, where you're not thinking, and it's really kind of like the Zen thing, where you try not to think and you just become what you're doing, which I think is key to many creative endeavors.
Really. Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'm a musician myself, so I understand. Yeah. The other question now: where can we find you? You have an exhibition soon going in Texas.
In Texas, yeah. I'm going to be in Texas Contemporary, which is going to be in October, represented by a gallery in Houston there. I have 6 galleries that now represent me. One in Scottsdale, Arizona, one in Sedona, Arizona, 2 here in Los Angeles, one in Houston, and online, Saatchi Online, who represents me also.
You can find anything on the internet now.
You can find anything on the internet, but the key is that the world of the gallery has changed. The world of the painter has changed tremendously. Just as social media has changed everything, the painting has changed with it. And more you find that actually galleries do not really sell paintings as much as they used to. What is selling paintings now are the shows, like the show that I'm doing in Texas, or the online presence. So you have to be present online, and you have to have a huge social media following to really be able to rise to the top. There are thousands and thousands of painters, and some very, very good ones everywhere.
What's the difference between a gallery and a show? You told me you're doing a show.
Yeah, the show is actually where galleries go into a convention center, pretty much, and then represent artists there, and then it's open to the public for generally 3 or 4 days, and they sell paintings right there to the public.
Okay. And so now we are jumping through. How does the world of painting work? How do you see that from your point of view? I mean, your side, because we know Picasso, we know Van Gogh, we know all those billionaires buying 200 million painting, and after that, poop, we don't know anything about it.
Well,
how that works?
Well, I wish I knew exactly how it worked, but it seems to be that you have to gather a following, that you have to gather some sort of recognition. It can come from really different ways. But you need to get to the point where people see your name equals the style, see something different that really touches them. In the middle of all that, you have gallerists, you have people that sell you paintings that are very different. It's a very hermetic world. It's very hard to get into a very good gallery. Just because there's thousands of painters trying to do that and trying to make a living. I mean, it's not a great way to make a living, you know. And I was warned about that when I was a kid, about art in general. And it's true, it's not very easy. But there is a way, and it's a multi-billion-dollar market.
And there's a few people who decide who's the greatest one. How you know? For example. I don't know the names, but I know some guys who sell their painting for $1 million, $2 million.
Sure.
Who decide the price? How that works?
Well, it's very interesting because it works two ways. It works with the public, the collectors, first of all. The collectors, if they're willing to spend money on a certain style or a certain time period, you can really see it, for instance, with Christie's, you know, that do all the auctions. Tastes change. It used to be that the paintings from the 1800s, the 1900s, beginning of those, used to sell quite a lot, and now you're seeing that actually paintings from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and up till now are starting to sell much more and to really raise the bar. So it's a strange business. It's a strange business.
It goes up and down.
Yeah, it goes up and down. It goes up and down, and the taste of people changes, but. I think altogether, people now, and a certain class of people that buy your paintings are the 1%ers. They have quite a bit of money, they have to. And so they're looking for something special. They're looking for something that really has a meaning to them in their life at the moment. So is it a splash of color? Is it, is it something that's rough? You have painters that do incredible paintings that are so rough and so intense that I personally don't think I would like to have in my house. So it's really a matter of taste, but you have to have an impact, and people want to have that impact in their home. They want to be able to show their friends when their friends come in, look at this piece, I love this piece, it makes me feel this, it makes me feel this, it makes me feel that, and that's the important thing. So if you don't reach people that way, if you don't give them an emotion, you can paint your whole life and perhaps enjoy it, but you won't sell a lot.
You have to do that first. You have to love what you do, and after that, see if it works.
Of course.
So now I see behind me those two elements.
Yes.
So that's what you're gonna show in Texas, right?
Yeah, it's a part of what I'm going to show in Texas.
Can you tell a little bit of the story about those elements? Because I heard you make more like a series of it.
A series, yeah. A series.
So where did the helmet come from?
Well, it was interesting. I was actually visiting my parents in France, and I've been looking for quite a few years into something that would be a sort of iconic image that I could work on for quite a long time and change as I'm going. And I really could not find this, and I was laying awake in Europe with the time change and with the jet lag, and it just came to me that we are, all of us, going towards the stars. I mean, that's what we're doing. And then that thought brought me to what we've been doing and to the image of the spacesuit and then to the helmet, which seemed to be very big iconic image for me, because without a helmet you cannot breathe in space. You have to have it, and it's really an image of where mankind is going, just how we push ourselves. So the series is about the helmet, but it's about what's around it, and it's quite interesting what you can put with it, as far as the visor itself, the image you could put on the visor, what you can put around it, the different meanings that it can have. So I think it's going to be a big series. So this one, for instance, here on top of it, because this plexiglass that will go on top, the plexiglass will be printed also. So on this one is actually a sort of very pop image. There'll be 4 flowers on top, and there'll be numbers all across, and the numbers are the bytes in the computer, and the same sequence that actually helped the computers program man going to the moon, which is very interesting. So you don't see the numbers right now because they will be painted on the plexiglass itself on top of the painting.
0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0.
Yeah, the 8s,
yeah.
All the 8 numbers that make the bytes of the computer.
And, the image sort of took shape it by itself. And after a while, just little retouches here and there, but obviously you can see, the eye right here and the whole face, and it's called the King again.
So well, as far as inspiration, I think that, and Picasso himself said it very well. I don't want to compare myself to him, obviously, but he said that you take from everything, and that you actually steal from everything. And in a way it's true, because I think as a human being you see images your whole day, your whole life, and they become part of you. And so I think art becomes a way of just changing those images and giving them a meaning and a focus that comes from you, a different type of focus, because you're an individual, you're like nobody else. So therefore your art is like nobody else's. But you do, of course, rely on images you've seen, and I've been to many museums, and I keep on going to museums. And I think it's the same thing as in music. When you create a piece, you have everything you've heard before in your mind somewhere. So I don't really think that an artist can say like I'm completely original. What you can do though is take an image and change it completely and give it a flavor that nobody has done before. And that's where you become really an original artist, where that flavor is completely different, and people go, wow, I never thought this was possible.
So Bernard, when can we find you? Do you have a website?
Yes, I do have a website. I started a website a few years ago. It's www.dunaux.com, and all my paintings are there. Paintings that are available, those have been sold, and some images of some of my pieces in some of my collectors' homes. So it's a good website. It's very easy, and all my information is on there.
Okay, only the address of your galleries you're in?
The galleries that carry me are on there, and my personal number to reach me is on there also.
Well, thank you very much, Bernard, for the moment.
It's been a pleasure.
Enjoy it,
of course.
And I see you hopefully soon,
of course.
And good luck with your with Texas.
All right, thank you very much. Pleasure being here.
Thank you. So we'll see you very soon, and thank you for being with us to Carte Los Angeles. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Ciao, ciao.